we go. There we go.
What was that all about?
I don't know. It's like usually
It's the thumbnail,
when
isn't it?
when the thing is over and then it goes into the reel and whatnot and the IG line, instead of allowing you to maybe like pick a clip from what you like as a preview or something, which I thought it'd be a great feature actually, Instagram. It just picks the first, I don't know, 8-9 seconds,
Yeah.
which is always like the most cringy part of something. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just make it like fucking weird.
Yeah. If you look at some of the ones I did, like the first thing I naturally just play with my nose ring, but it looks like I'm literally just picking my fucking nose on that in the first couple of seconds, and now I am like, oh fucking yeah.
Well, I'm really curious on this one because I've connected that guy to the actual. It's very simple. So I don't know. Do you hear me like? Well, is it like different or something?
It's the same for me.
It's the same shit. So let me unhook it and hook it back in.
Okay.
What about now?
Exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. So yeah, props for spending €6 for something that does not work.
Oh.
That is great. That is awesome. That is awesome and whatever. So, yeah, in that case, you'll excuse me for like 1 second. I'll go grab my earbuds.
Okay. Hi everyone. How is everyone's Sunday? Just to be really awkward and try and host shit by myself, which I can't do because I'm just an awkward fucking starfish. What a day. Oh, thank God he's back. You can't sleep like that.
There we go. Power.
That's different. Why are you sad?
Am I sad? Do I look sad?
No, someone in the comments. That's the point. I should probably open it up on there.
Somebody's sad. Maybe, it's the classic, it's the typical, I guess, lo-fi listener, lo-fi audience. You're sad. A lot of people have to be sad.
Yeah.
Why not? Live your life. What?
Right, there we go. So, did you get many questions from people? Just let's kick straight off with that.
I got 5 questions.
I got 4.
Okay, this is like very great. So, I can go first. The first one is from you. Wait, we can have a timer and question stickers. Fuck my life. So I get the pretty much it was answered already. Second
I didn't realize
is,
you could have more than one sticker.
Yeah. Second one is it's not really a question, but it says I love your music.
Thank you to Bariyong, I don't know.
Third question says, why does Paul have such a tiny dick? Why do you know, Michael?
Fucking hell. So you basically had stupid questions then.
Yeah. There's also one question from my friend Davide in Italy. Lofi Tiger says, are you worse?
Of course, and the worst, the cuntiest person. And the real sincere question comes from my friend Jib, who says, aka
DP shit, who says, any thoughts on Lofi items? That's it.
Okay.
So let's read yours. What's yours say?
I love how you just got stupid shit. Okay, so I got what's a hot take on lo-fi that you agree with?
Yeah.
So
wait, give me a second.
Okay.
I'm trying to make the fucking things work again.
Yeah, your audio is kind of going in and out.
Yeah, I know. It's really like nothing works in this podcast.
All right, technical difficulties, Paul. It's been fine the past several weeks, but he starts fucking around with things.
Yeah. Oh well, fuck it. If only one works at a time, yeah, it is what it is. It's like fucking Murphy's law. If things go bad, they can always go worse. So fucking sit back, relax, and enjoy it, and then that's that.
Okay, so I have had a thought about this question, the hot take on lo-fi that you agree with.
Okay,
and,
okay.
and and that's that it's fucking background noise. I 100% agree with that. Like, I know that there are people that would fight to the death, being like, oh no, it's more than just. It's not.
Yeah.
We're all just making music for people to put on in the background while they do shit.
Yeah. I definitely like. What was that question? Like, if it's like background noise or not?
No, the question was, what's a hot take on lo-fi that you agree with?
Other hot take. I don't know. I think this is like many. Like, there's a lot of layers on this one. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, there's a lot of hot takes. Like, I mean, if it's like, the whole background noise is a hot take. Yeah. Another hot take is, I guess, you're gonna make a fuck ton of money if you start making lo-fi beats. No, you're not. You're just helping saturate the fucking scene. You're becoming part of the problem. Stay at your fucking lane, Billy.
But that's not a hot take that you agree with. You would disagree with that hot take.
We have to agree with the hot take.
That's right.
Okay. Making money out of lo-fi music.
What?
What? Hot take that I agree with. It's payola when it comes to playlisting. Let's go.
I mean,
Let's go.
that's not necessarily a hot take. That's just straightforward facts.
Common sense. That's a common secret, I guess.
Well, no, I don't know whether you saw on my Twitter week before, where
Yeah.
I basically we'd had a release through Kiwi Bear, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try some of these playlists that specifically have emails in their bio. And I'm like, I'm not going to fuck around and do like just a personalized email like you're supposed to. I'm just going to straightforward like BCC them all, just spam them with the same message. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, I'd been offered to pay anything between $10 and $45 for placements from every single one of the ones in emails. And it answered my hypothesis, I guess, that if there's a playlist that has an email in the bio for submissions, it's 100% they're going to ask you to pay.
It's disturbing, isn't it? It's disturbing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing that this thing is like, I would say, I don't know, keep happening, I guess, even though there's been a lot of oustings on the subject. But, at the end of the day, it's like people don't really give a fuck. A good tip in life is, I guess, do what makes you happy. Shut the fuck up. Let other people do what makes them happy. Shut the fuck up a little bit more. And, and live your life. So, people are always going to be people. And I guess, we're just preaching to the choir every time. A few of us or a lot of us or whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily putting me off in the sense of like, I know it's there. I also acknowledge it because I would be stupid if I didn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's in an ideal world, we can really, and I wouldn't want this to not be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then if we did not have that kind of stuff, then where would all these people go, or how would that distinguish us from somebody else? Yeah, I think it's a little bit deep, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that there are obviously those that are cashing in on this, and they're the people that I'm not particularly interested in, especially those that are asking for like, $15 to $20 for a playlist that barely gets like, 5 plays a week.
Yeah.
And it's hard to weed out those people or those playlists. I don't necessarily say people, but those like playlists, because unless you're on them, there's not really a lot you can kind of, there are websites where you can see whether they're of any value, but again, it doesn't necessarily answer the question like in black and white. So it's always going to be a gamble.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. It's I guess you could say it's a necessary evil eventually. It's like with every other thing that happens on this fucking planet, and people, humans are involved. It's like there's like shit. It's a mixed bag of shit of stuff. So yeah, like at the end of the day, it's interesting that happens. Like I mean, without wanting to, uh, reveal stuff or say anything more.
That's weird for
Uh,
you.
yeah. Eventually I do come around and just share stuff, but we're still in this sort of like alleged mode or whatever. Things are in the works.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I will know more, I hope, on the subject as of tomorrow noon. You'll probably be one of the first ones to
Right.
know as
Yeah.
well.
You.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm sorry to the people who tune in and listening now that I'm, sound like a little bit like an old man speaking in riddles or whatever. I am an old man, and it definitely sounds a little bit riddly, but most of you will know tomorrow what's happening.
Right.
Uh,
I.
yeah, no, it's
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I do. I
I
do
got
have
it, I
one
got it.
stupid question,
Okay,
and
go.
this is from everyone's favorite lo-fi producer. I'm busy, and he said for me to ask you this: 2 + 2 is 4 minus one. That's
3
which is. I can't believe I'm
balls.
asking you this. No,
I don't know.
it's that viral song, "Man's Not Hot." He's trying to get you to do the lyrics to that.
Quick maths.
That's
That's quick maths
it.
for that's
Yeah.
quick maths, boy. Man's not hot, man.
Oh wow! I can't believe we got you to do that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, I did. Initially, it didn't ring any bells, even though it was like a pretty hardcore internal meme that I had used extensively with a few of my colleagues back at work. I don't know when that shit first came out, and that it I felt amazed that a lot of people thought that this is a genuine artist.
Yeah,
But of course, if you're not from the UK, or if you're not familiar with, let's say, UK comedians, or UK related stuff, you don't really know. Because for me, it's like, oh, fuck. I was like, because well, for the life of me, and still now, don't know the name of the guy, but I did know back then that he has basically an array of characters,
yeah.
and this was one of the characters, that sort of like rapper, wannabe grind star, kind of like whatever. And then when that shit blow up, man's not hot. I was like, get it, boy.
Uh,
Oh
yeah, he's
shit. Yeah,
brilliant.
super. Yeah, it's really. So yeah.
Another
Props for
another
the
question we got
shout
was
out.
how to make better contacts.
Oh, that's like a serious question. How to make better contacts? Let me see. Right off the bat, when you're contacting somebody, they don't care about your age. Remember, you're not casting for a porn movie, so it's fine. Even if you're 12 or 16 or 18, like I had that several times. Like, hi, this is blah blah blah, and I'm like 16 years old. I'm like, sounds legal. Let's go. Nobody's gonna give a fuck, man. Like, at the end of the day, they just need to know if the music is fine. So you telling me your age, how should I say? It's I know it's not you, Beethoven, so it's fine. It's okay. Like, unless you tell me like, hey, I'm 4 years old, which
Yeah,
would be very impressive because first of all, you know how to use a keyboard or like, I don't know, a mobile phone. You know how to type. You know the letters, and I would be very impressed. Let alone the music part will just come in last. There's
yeah.
going to be so many things that I'm going to be impressed with a 4-year-old texting me. um, so yeah, and the other would be, I think, quite important in the sense of like, and I'm going to sneak in a little bit of like a segue there. Uh, Respect the person you're talking to.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the never judge a book by its cover goes without saying, and it might sound a little bit cliche, but I'm gonna base the answer to that question to, let's say, an example that I had recently. Somebody communicating with somebody, and the vibe that I got was like low-key disrespectful in the sense of, I mean, I was in no way, butthurt in the sense of like, I don't give two shits if somebody has an issue with me, especially somebody that I don't know, and comes across as like critiquing or a little bit aggressive and blah, blah, blah. Hey man, what's up? Like, I'm like, homie, like, you're fucking 20 years old. Like, don't hey man me. First of all. Secondly, it's like, when it comes to a, let's say, business transaction, or let's say, because at the end of the day, we're talking about somebody, let's say a producer contacting maybe a distributor, a label, even if you want to contact another producer to collab with, regardless of their magnitude, regardless of their positioning or whatever.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, who gives two schmoes if you have 100K followers or if you're verified? I mean, everybody's verified nowadays in the lo-fi world, so it's like whatever. Just keep it, respectful and professional and as much to the point as you can. I mean, there are people and people, like in the sense of like, I like reading long emails. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I got, I'm an old man. I'm basically almost like in pension. You can say I'm always like already pensionist. So like, I'm afraid I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time. So, I read that shit. But, try to be respectful about the situation, even when somebody's like, doing you wrong. And I've personally had good experience on that lately. You just, if you keep the level to respectful. I'm not saying you can be cynical. You can be stoic. If you don't know what these words means, they're Greek, so you can Google them as well. Um, but yeah, I would say like these two. Nobody cares about your age. Don't mention your age to anyone. You don't have to. It's weird. Uh, and keep it respectful. I guess this is how you make good contact. You don't have to. And the one thing that you should not do, you know, pretend that you're interested or like fake ask stuff and then ask for whatever you want to ask. I think nobody really likes that, especially from somebody they don't know. Uh, yeah, if like I message you and you don't know me and I start to make like a small talk and blah 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 just to butter me up after like 15 minutes, like, oh, can you follow me? No. Yeah, that I think that's a no.
I think there's a fine line between like being, I guess, interested, but also like fishing for whatever you want from people. Like I guess we're both very experienced with people coming to us asking for shit, whether it's like playlist placements or releases or whatever. And I guess, yeah, totally agree with everything that you've said there. But on one thing I would add is, wait, no, I literally had it and then it's just gone. I guess supposing we're talking about like people reaching out to get, playlist contacts or whatever.
Yeah.
Before you message them, like just check where they accept submissions, because the last, I feel like I make it quite clear how to submit to my playlists, but I still get people emailing, I still get people sending me DMs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you are reaching out to people to ask for something, before you actually message them, check everywhere before you actually talk to them, because there's nothing more irritating than getting a random message from someone being like, hey bro, I've dropped a new track, could you submit it to your playlist, blah blah blah. And I will straight up say I've got an automated like thing on Instagram that if someone does that, I'll just type playlist and then it will fill it out for me and I just send it away.
It's a canned response, but fuck it. We live in the day and era, like the age of automation.
Yeah.
So fuck it, because it's probably the guy that contacted you. He's copy pasting the same messages to another 20
No, exactly.
labels and just changes the. Sometimes you don't even have to change the name. You just say, "Hey yo,"
Yeah.
boom. Yeah. So.
And as well, like cold spamming your links, or even I've had people that will like share their recent stories or posts in DMs to me, and I'm like, that's nice. Like in the nicest way possible. I don't care. Like if I wanted to check out your stuff, I'd check out your stuff.
Yeah, I've generally never had that.
Really?
Generally never had that. Yeah, like existing content on like asking for this and asking for that, or like send me like a Spotify link. Usually, if you just, hey bro, this is put it in your playlist. No, it's like 3 dots, delete.
Yeah.
That's it. Or like you said, depending on the vibe of the message, in the sense of like, I got a message yesterday. It's like, hey, this is so and so. I'm a lo-fi producer from there. That's another thing. Like, I don't really care where you come from. Whatever, like age. I think we can add this to the thing. Age and where you come from. It's not really. It doesn't really add to anything. It's not like, unless you say I live in fucking, I don't know, in the mountain base of Everest. I'm like, bro, like that dude is making beats over there, is like sick. That'd be interesting. But anyway, I'm from so and so. My name is so and so. I'm a lo-fi producer, because of course you are. Why else would you send me a message? I'm putting out this album like in a month or so. And I'm here to discuss playlist placement.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Let me continue the discussion and direct you to Submit Hub.
Speaking of playlist.
Exactly. Or, I started offering the other thing now. Or, daily playlists. You can go there, Of course, it's a little bit more of a Russian roulette there. I think since last week, when was it that you sent me that message on Discord saying like, oh, is that so? I declined your submission. I reached the point that
you had like 650, didn't you?
Exactly. To include everybody else in the live here. Like I had I don't know 650 whatever something. I got an email from Daily Players like, hey, check your fucking inbox. Something's off. So I just went. I think I sprinted through the last 200, and I think the last 100 it was like decline. And just by looking at sometimes, on my defense, sometimes I just get the vibe from the cover. If I see something that is remotely clippy arty, I would just I don't even want to listen to it because. You should at least put some effort, like coming to the discussion we had the last Sunday, doing the stuff on your own. Like, you could have like the best music possible. If you package it like shit, nobody's going to open up the package, If you give like an iPhone 13 to somebody and you literally put it inside a turd, they're not going to, if you tell them what it is, but if you say, hey, here's your Christmas present, they're not going to open that shit at all. So, that's the thing. And I was like, no, I'm not going to discuss anything with anyone. They can just go to the daily playlist or to Submit Hub or whatever. And it is what it is. At least like what I definitely appreciate, even though I agree to the fact, Submit Hub, you're paying technically for a chance. You're paying for somebody to listen to your track, first of all. And secondly, for a chance to get on that person's playlist. But it's not to the extent of like $3 or $5 or $20 coffees or like 25 euros for like a week or, shit like that. It's like the submissions there start from as low as 50 cents. So it's not that terrible, even though it has become it has become like a career to some people.
Yes.
So, again, Sure. Like it really depends like why you do it. Like I try to do it as much as to finance, let's say, the ads that go back to the playlist that I have. So, yeah.
I think just to kind of round it off as well, being genuine is probably the best
Mm,
way that you can, gain new contacts. If
yeah.
it can be quite intimidating talking to like a
It
new
definitely
person,
can, yeah.
especially if you feel like they are like you said, miles above where you think you are in I guess this community. But at the end of the day, we're all humans, and if you're genuine
Yeah.
and have something interesting to say that isn't just, hey bro, here's a track for your playlist, then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
engaging in their content, just
Yeah,
actually supporting them and not just
yeah,
fishing for
yeah,
free shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole playlisting thing. I think has reached critical mass now. It's like that 11 out of 10 messages you get in your inbox that sit in your requests because we have our friends and we have the people that we don't know. It's basically they're just asking you to put them on your playlist, like
Yep.
boom, like this. And I think this is what also drives people to say, you know what, if I'm going to be fucking quote unquote harassed by shit like that every day, I might as well put a price tag on it because
Yeah.
when there's a price on it, I feel less harassed. So it's whatever. So I'm pretty sure that, I mean, I've done it, like in the sense of like for shits and giggles, I replied and I was like, would my PayPal work for you?
Of course you did.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, yeah, sure, send me your PayPal, how much you want. I was like, no, man, it's okay. Like you can go submit it. I was conducting a social experiment. That's what I was doing. But you're welcome to send me $50. Yeah. Yeah, I would not take like that money from anybody, even though like some people like right off the blue is like, oh, I'm gonna give you $50 to put me in your playlist. I'm like, mate, like you don't even know. Like I could like half of my playlist could be fucking bought it for all I care.
Mm.
But they just see like, oh, that guy has like 20,000 followers, like 1,000, 3,000. Fuck, yeah, let's go. I'll put it on the. No, man, it's
Yeah.
okay. Like you will be it will be more beneficial to you to buy Submit Hut credits for $50, even though it sounds ridiculous, but it would definitely be more beneficial to you. And then you can submit to, maybe 5 to 10 premium, let's say,
Yeah.
submitters or blogs, and then a bunch of the smaller ones. But again, not blindly do it like some people that I know.
I think that's a lot that I've seen as well.
Bro, like
Especially if you ask for
yeah,
submissions over Twitter, that's the worst.
right, like they did that, and I can say that they did that in Universal a couple of times in the first couple of releases that we did, in the sense of like, oh, we're gonna run a campaign for you on Submit Hub, which I was like very, I welcomed. I was like, oh, this is really good. End of the day, they just submitted to anybody that was under Lofi.
Yeah.
Because when I heard campaign, I thought, there might be actually some. I mean, I guess with marketing campaigns, you put some thought in it, like, oh, targeting specific people, whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the other side of a campaign, which is like, here's a fuck ton of money, everybody gets some, boom. I mean, I even got a submission of my own track.
Fuck.
So I was like, this seems like very, very niche.
Oh shit.
But no, at the end of the day, I think the reasoning behind that is like the more people accept it, then the reasoning that I was provided, like the more people accept it, then it moves up uh, to the Submit Hub charts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this by itself, it's a funny thing. Like no diss to Submit Hub, like the guys are doing a great job there. It's a very scalable and flourishing business model. but it's like Submit Hub charts. What's that?
I
Is
wouldn't
that
know.
supposed to mean?
I
Yeah, is
wasn't
that supposed to
accepted.
mean anything? Yeah, of course. It's only for the very few of us, you know.
Exactly.
It's not for everybody, peasants.
Yeah.
Uh, like if you remember, like the hype. You do remember the hype machine, right? The hype M
Yeah.
website. Yeah. Even though that was a little bit inflated, it did make sense back then. You know, if you make it to the hype machine charts, because you were like, "Fuck, it's crazy." Like everybody who's anybody in the blog sphere, they would talk about you, which makes sense. But like Submit Hub charts, I'm like, oh, you know, we're number one in Submit Hub. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's not Billboard, is it?
No.
It's okay. Like, and it's okay. I mean, it's not something that I will be. How should I say? I'm not gonna take a screenshot of it and make like a little sign and put it in the back of my wall and say,
You're not
oh,
going to make a
we
plan.
made it to number one. Because it's like you've just proven to me how easy it is. Like technically, I think you need because I put them. I did the math because I'm good at maths, like two plus two quick maths. Um, I think you need approximately 380 to 390 euros to buy enough credits to include all, and I'm hoping that I'm not forgetting any, all lo-fi study music chill hoppy outlets on Submit Hub. So there's a price for number one.
Yeah.
You spend that money there and say, oh, here's the money. I just blindly submit to all of these guys. Eventually, you're going to go to the number one thing.
Yeah.
Not because this is based in the sense of like, it's based on how many of these outlets share the music.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily make it the best, right? Like you can even say, you know, I just record farts for 2.5 minutes and I have everybody's on it and everybody accepts it, then the fart song is going to be number one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Simple as that. So,
who wants to try that
everything
experiment?
no, I think what we can take from this is that everything's fake. We live in a simulation. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, the simple fact of the matter is money. You can buy your way to the top, no matter what anyone says. You can buy your way to the top.
You can fuck your way to the top as well. If there's like, yeah. I mean, I know a few guys. I know a few guys who do that.
Don't we all?
Asking for a friend.
Okay, so I do have one more serious question.
Okay,
and I think this is going to spin off into several different tangents. And the question is, why did we start labels?
I'll let you start with
you
this
you just shit yourself.
I just feel like I'm going to vomit a little bit in my mouth.
I mean, I've said this a million times, the reason why I started Kiwi Bear, and that's simply because I felt like labels in the lo-fi scene weren't doing enough. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It was a case of I feel like I can do a better job, and so far I feel like I am. That's pretty much as simple as that. I felt like, you know, there are a lot of, I suppose, lazy labels out there, if we're going to be specific, that don't do anything. They will just release your stuff.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, maybe. And yeah, there are a lot of labels that just don't really do anything. I've had a couple of releases with labels that have just put me on a playlist and called it a day. They didn't provide anything of value in terms of, like, you know, artist support with assets and things like that. There was no, oh, okay, you've got a release coming up, here's some artwork. And that was probably the extent that it went to. And I just kind of thought, well, people hate Pitchin's playlist. People don't know the first thing about Pitchin's playlist, nor do they have the time. And I'm like, well, I do. So yeah, that's just what we're going to do. And so far, I feel like it's working well.
I'm making a note here because you were right. Like this can go into this is going to spread. There's going to be one forks too many. There's going to be forks that will have forks on this. So starting off with that, I definitely agree, 100%. I mean, the reason why I made the label, like, the funny part, the joke part is like I don't even fucking know anymore.
Yeah.
The the initial thing I thought, um, I would say like a mix of, like me coming from a different world music wise, also like you did.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically this, you get fucked over one times a minute, it's like, maybe I can do it better. Or like let's just see what happens.
Hmm.
I think it was that basically like as romantic as it might sound, because don't forget, kids, I'm fucking old. So I was born before fucking Facebook and internet. Like there were dark times, you have to call at your mate's house and his mom would pick up and it's like, is Billy there? And
Yep.
Billy won't be there because he was taking a shit somewhere. And then you have to call
Billy's
again
already
in
gone
5
out with
minutes.
some of his other friends.
Yeah,
He,
I mean,
he has other
no,
friends.
yeah, I mean, nobody was called Billy back then in Greece, when I was growing up in the 80s, but you know what I mean. The Greek equivalent for Billy is Vasily, which sounds a bit low-key Russian, but again, it is what it is. Anyway, so what I was going with this is like, yeah, there's a little bit of romanticism, I guess, involved in the sense of like, oh, let me just do it as well. Like, see
Yeah.
what happens. I can be better, pay people up in time, give them something more than just, what is this fucking playlist thing anyway? So, and because I had like, again, a discussion with the same person I'm not gonna say who, as always. It was like, um, you know, the whole thing you have going on for you now, Paul, the universal stuff, yeah, it goes well and it doesn't, but I don't really give a fuck. And then thanks for letting us know in Discord and what's happening and whatnot. But yeah, again, I don't care. That's your problems.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I just want a lot of streams and a lot of money. Because let's face it, this is what labels want and this is what the artist wants. I'm like, no, no, this is clearly what you want, which is fine by me. I'm not going to judge it. I think I mentioned this like in the past. I'm not going to get between a man and his bread. You want to get
Yeah.
your bread? Fucking get it, man. Like, get it. I don't care. But I think you should be looking at to other labels like this one that you so kindly mentioned that put you on a playlist. You get the streams, you get the whatever money you get out of that. And even if they give you like a 30-70 deal, like 70 in their favor, you will still take it up your ass like a nice little bitch that you are because this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want that, which is fine by me, like I'm not going to judge. Well, calling somebody a little bitch, it is judging, but fuck it. Like, it's not, I'm not going to be butthurt or I'm not going to start fucking social justice campaign against you. You want to get your bread, boy, just fucking get it, man. Like, no matter what.
Yeah.
I go to the bakery in the morning and get my bread from there. You want to get it from Spotify? Go ahead. Weak joke, I know, but whatever. Yeah, it's that like it's like you question me and Aaron about what we do, and we don't have too many connections, and our playlists are not that big, and blah blah blah. So you want more and more and more for that fucking 30% that we might get, or like 50%, with you ignoring all the fact that we're there for you, we're talking, we're busting our ass, we're bringing you in contact. Well, we were saying basically, the last weekend about what a label is nowadays and what it does. But if some big guy just offers you like a place, a temporary place, as we said previously, in a big playlist, you're just gonna take it, man, because yeah, playlist is fine by me. But to me, the little guy, you're gonna try to squeeze something out of me, to which I'm just gonna be like, oh, you should have told me from the start. If you, came to me, if your expectation is like shitloads of streams and this and this and that, you could have just told me from the beginning when I'm busting my ass to explain things to you, putting documents for you to read and this and that. And I would have said, oh, you don't have to release with us. It's fine.
Exactly.
We will do without you. Maybe in the future, if we manage to fulfill your expectations, let's talk about it then. But until then, good luck with your music. Like I always found it like funny when they wish me well with my label, and I wish your label to have success. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, you wanna throw some daggers at me, or like, just say directly, like, just say it to me. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I wish you all the best with your label. My label was doing pretty best. Is doing pretty best the past, well, with the exception of that universal part. Pretty okay. So, I'm still here. I'm still smiling. I'm not gonna die over that fucking shit anyway. So
Exactly.
it is what it is. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we've been fortunate that we have, like, touch wood, that we actually haven't had someone come to us being like, oh, well, I was getting 15,000 plays from this label. Why haven't you provided the same? And I'm just like, we never said that we could. We never said that we would.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you never do. You never promise anything.
No. And, I probably would be like, do you know what? Take it somewhere else. Even if we released it, I'd like, take it somewhere else.
Yeah. Take it, man.
Have a good time. And I wish you the best with your song.
Yeah. Like, because at the end of the day, the joke is on them, because it's like, why did you even bother submitting to the label if it doesn't fill out your standards? Or if you didn't, spend like 5 minutes looking that label up, in the sense of like, oh, let's see how many followers they have, let's see how many placements they got, like, because there's like so many different websites and tools nowadays that you can use and figure shit out for people. And it's like, and you only found out now, bro? It's just like, why my release is not doing well, Aaron? Like, it's been a week and I have like 100 streams.
I mean, to answer that question, though, like, we didn't promise that, but also,
exactly,
we've always said that when everything that we release, we have faith behind. We're behind it 100%.
Yeah.
But our taste and everybody else's taste is vastly different. And we've had something that we've taken on tracks that we thought would be like fucking massive, and they maybe didn't quite get what we thought we'd get for it. And it's strange, because something very similar beforehand did skyrocket. It just depends on the day. It depends on the weather, I guess. And
totally.
I think it's a lot of people come with such massive expectations for labels that we're going to shoot them to the moon. And you know what? That'd be fucking amazing if we could every single time. But this is not the case.
Yeah, it's not realistic, bro. It's not reality. That doesn't happen. It's at its best. If you put aside all the payola and all the whatever, alleged stuff, whatnot, it's really Russian roulette.
100%.
You just have to be fucking lucky, because I could be like following your cheat sheet, submitting to everybody, being super nice. Like, I could be doing all these things, and trust me, I fucking have.
Mm-hmm.
And still nothing really happens. And then we put out a track like a couple of weeks ago. It was like a collab EP that I put out with Michael. And last night, I'm just like fiddling through statistics before I go to bed, and I see like a fucking spike, like 2,000 streams over, like in one night, in one day, 2.5. And I was like, oh shit, like, is this who I think it is? Like there's some weird campaign again happening and whatnot, Yeah. Well, I thought initially, I thought it was Universal or something, like some like fixed playlist or something like that. Like, gosh darn it, No, it said Release Radar. It came from Release Radar. Like, Release Radar decided to wake up in the States like 2 weeks after the release. And you're saying that to me, and I actually talked to other people as well. It's been like a common thing that happened to a bunch of people. Yeah. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are fiddling with the fucking algorithm again.
Apparently, that Spotify, according to someone that I know that really digs into the Spotify API and has been doing so much ridiculous amount of testing with Spotify's algorithm or whatever, but that they believe is them testing you for wider editorial to see whether people will be interested in that track, whether they continuously listen to it, save it, blah, 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 blah. And then, if it's doing really well, because I think my track, that exact same thing happened a couple of weeks back, and I ended up with about 10,000 streams from Release Radar alone.
Okay.
And
but did you land an editorial then?
No. Yeah, was like, oh shit, this could really be it. This could be it. I've got another track coming out later this week. This could be it. It's
That's not it.
But saying that, what did happen was my radio play started to go up.
Yeah.
So maybe some.
Yeah. It definitely helps that. It definitely helps that. The radio play helps that. No, it's cool. Okay, good to. I mean, I think you just given me the next episode's one of the next episode subjects, like revisiting. Did Paul get on an editorial? Find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Well, good to know, because this was like part of my one of my questions for tomorrow. I was just like curious about that, even though I do know the answers. Like, oh, some other department is dealing with that. I'm not really sure. Whatever. I mean, I think a common misconception is like expecting somebody that is employed somewhere to know everything about that organization and all aspects of that. But why wouldn't you, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
You work there.
You did one
Fuck
thing.
off.
Now you need to know everything.
Give me the secret sauce of the McDonald's sauce. How do you make McDonald's breakfast so fucking tender? I don't know.
Lo-Fi Listeners just put a good question in though. What happened to you that a good performing playlist without ads stopped growing?
Did it happen to you that a good performing playlist without ads stopped? Yes, I can say yes. Both for ads, for playlists with ads and without ads, and with ads. They just I mean, without ads, I guess it's pretty obvious. Like why? I guess if you stop throwing the ads, and it's like this slow decline. But usually, when there's like a slow decline, is a normal decline for something.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you see like a massive drop, then this is where you start getting these botted ideas. But I've had other before I went into the ad world, which was like last year, 3 years before that.
Yeah.
There were a couple of playlists, mainly the seasonal ones, that they would just stop, and they wouldn't just stop because it's not autumn anymore, or it's not whatever.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, we live in a fucking globe. The earth is not flat. So when there's winter in the north, there's summer in the south. So technically, all these fucking seasons are interchangeable, and they're like, they're evergreen content. It's just like some people have, connected summer with July. Some other people connected summer with December.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's why we need to move to Australia, or get like a flat or a house there or something, and just fucking endless summer, baby. Oh yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm on that.
Well, I mean, going to Australia is definitely like a challenge, because like immediately you're not on the top of the food chain.
Mm.
There's so many things that can fucking eat you in Australia. Like starting from spiders.
Yeah, I'm out already.
Yeah. It is challenging, but no, sorry. Like, what's your take on what's your response to the lo-fi lists?
Well,
question?
I think a lot of it is to do with Spotify changing algorithms. I mean, I noticed recently on my Spotify app that I can now enhance playlists, and they automatically stick.
Oh yeah.
50, they stick 50 tracks that they think will fit on the playlist, but it looks like they would constantly change. So I don't know how that would work. With the whole ad thing, I think with Apple and their privacy thing, that's fucked a lot of people's ads. I know we're talking about not ads, but I know that screwed a lot. And now you have to have a custom domain set up and different shit like that.
You don't have to anymore. They rolled back on that, actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So this is the thing, like, you learn so much of one thing, and then somebody just decides to change something else because it didn't work, or, they weren't seeing them. I mean, Apple obviously wasn't seeing a lot of revenue from that for some reason, so that's why they did that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to that, like somebody not making enough money.
Yeah. But I guess to answer the question of organic, there's too many fucking playlists.
Yeah, too many. And there's too many fucking playlists with the actual word lo-fi on it. Guilty. Yeah. I'm guilty too.
100%. All of my playlists have
I'm guilty too. Yeah. Fuck that.
But it's just there's there's so much just oversaturation. I mean, I started making this type of music in 2019, and since just over the pandemic alone, I saw maybe 50 to 100 new faces come on the scene, and that's awesome that they're coming along and creating new stuff and maybe twisting things in a different direction, but. For us that are just trying to get our foot in the door, it's like fucking stop.
No, I think nowadays, I don't know why nobody's like talking about it yet. Is that I think the amount of instrumental music right now on this fucking planet surpasses any previous recordings, like all together, like whether it's like rap, R&B, like singing, like songs.
Yeah.
I think there's more instrumental pieces now than actual songs.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm pretty sure like worldwide. And for sure, like I just find it like mind-boggling because it's like I'm just basically slowly turning myself into a meme of like, fucking popcorn eating meme. Yeah. And just like fucking watching it. Like what's gonna happen? Like what is it? Like in the sense of like I don't even care about shit anymore. Like, fuck my label and fuck these guys and fuck that guy and fuck everybody. I want out.
Yeah.
Like I've had enough. Like it's because every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry think they're entitled to some shit and whatnot. And sure, man, like whatever, as long as you're not physically hurting anybody.
Oh yeah, you do you.
Or mentally hurting anybody, because mental illness is a thing, and there's a lot of people who abuse other people mentally. I guess, yeah, just do your thing, live your life, whatever. I mean, to get back into the question, I guess I'll just want to, chime into what you said. There's a lot of playlists right now. They have to figure out something to reduce the number of playlists. Like there has to be some sort of like.
That's a difficult topic because the whole point of playlists is for people to create personal playlists for themselves. I think it's only
exactly
though. So this is kind of again going back to the whole label question, as well as like lo-fi and chill hop stuff. We're keen to kind of move out of that. We can see that there's a natural progression from like lo-fi hip hop to the more sort of like alternative R&B, bedroom pop, that sort of like, bedroom indie, more vocal driven stuff. And, we're really keen to release some of that stuff. But so we've had kind of like an alt R&B release, sad pop type release type thing. We've had a German rap release, and looking at the difference between how people handle playlists for those type of tracks to lo-fi, it's a completely different world. Like, you could just search. Yeah, you could just search for lo-fi and you can find, 30 odd playlists that will have contact details. Submit to my playlist, blah, blah, blah. You search for like alt R&B, sad pop, you'll maybe find 15 to 20 playlists, full stop. With submission information, because in those genres, it's just not as, overly saturated with people either trying to cash in on it, using playlists to market their own stuff, which, let's be real, that's the whole reason that I have playlists. It's the whole reason that you have playlists, is to market our own music. And it's just a really strange juxtaposition between that and every other genre, that you just come over to lo-fi and you're just literally bombarded with playlists, and fixed playlists now if we're talking about UMG. And it's just it's so bizarre.
It is.
And the whole point of going back to the thing is for people to create stuff for their own listening. And it's kind of, some people have taken that and thought, oh, well, people are listening to this that aren't me. So how can I either cash in on that, or, how can I make this grow into something insanely massive? And that, I think, to say that Spotify need to do something about it, I don't think there is anything they can do about it, because what can they do? You can only create 15 playlists.
Yeah.
And it's just weird.
I have a solution on that. Maybe people are not going to like it, but it's going to be great. The only playlist that can be public on a platform like Spotify for people to follow, like is verified profiles.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
Nice and
Isn't that
easy.
something that they were? It was a rumor that they were going to do something like that. They were going to
Yeah,
stop
that's
personalized
that's
playlists
for
being
me.
public.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can have. I mean, nothing against somebody. Let's say a listener or like a music aficionado or like a sound file
Yeah,
to have your own playlist because yeah, I go to the gym and I want to listen to that shit, or I go for a run and I do this, or I'm like whatever. I'm working and I'm putting my playlist together. Like the whole concept of having your own playlist was there before Spotify and Apple Music and everybody else. Like you had fucking mixtapes at your house.
yeah.
Like you would record specific songs you want to listen, and you have them on cassette tape and you listen to it. Uh, so why would a profile that is not verified, let's say on Spotify, because yeah, we keep talking about Spotify. Fuck these guys, like Jesus, as if there's no other streaming platform.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody's like using that, so fuck it.
Well, I
mean
think
that
it's
was
because
the.
Apple Music isn't as rife with
It's
personalized
a
playlists.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's not really big, and it's a closed system, and you don't see following there, so fuck it. Why should I do it? And blah
Yeah,
blah blah. So yeah, simple user that makes playlists by default, they are limited to your own listening, and that's it.
but then what
I
if
do
you
get it.
want
It's
to share
fun.
those playlists with friends?
Fuck you. Why would you? There should be like some other thing, like if you want to share it, if you apply this sort of like verified, non-verified, you can share. Most likely, your friends won't be verified, so you can send them a link, and they can listen to it, but they won't be able to make it public or whatnot. Like I
Right.
think that's the point.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be. I think Apple has it nicely. Let's say it distinguishes like the wording is nice. Every time you create a new playlist, there's a tick box that says. Um, Make available for search in public or something like
Yeah.
that. So you can make a playlist, and by default, it's on your iTunes. But if you tick that box there, then this is going to go to the wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that it's so easy to look for playlists on Apple Music. The main results that you get is from the actual songs, which is not bad, mind you, right? Like fuck it, as a recording artist, as commercial, whatever. I much rather would like people to go directly to my artist profile and listen to my shit there instead of like landing 3,000 different playlists. And then again, we come up with the problem of, passive to active listeners,
Yeah.
which in the genre that we are talking to or we're dealing in with, it's usually like 99% to 1%,
Yeah.
that 1% being your fucking parents.
Just looking at the comments, though, it might be worth noting.
Yeah.
So,
I was
you can get
yeah.
a verified user account on Spotify, provided you, yes, as Lo-Fi List said,
Yeah, of course.
as you're if you're a label. But even then, I think they're being quite closed off with verifying user accounts just for the sake of
It's not. Yeah, it's not that it's like an open process, like you can submit for verification or whatever. But either way, I think that could definitely be like a good. Why not? You can open it up the same way that Instagram does. Like you can submit.
Yeah.
And you never get approved unless you know a certain guy in a certain distribution.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that would get you approved overnight. But yeah. But for verified, yeah, exactly. I think you get a verified check through DistroKid and other. Well, what was that? Cornerian Flight Academy. I have no idea. Like if you can get a verified check on Spotify.
I think he's
Profile
talking
through
about
DistroKid.
the artist profile, but we're talking about actual
Yeah.
user
Well,
profiles.
yeah. In that case, yeah, the verified check, like the moment you claim a profile, you get a verified. Being a verified artist is not really a thing. Like you get it as soon as you claim that artist on Spotify, it gets verified, basically informing you or the listener that this artist is managed by a human and it's not like just some whatever. So we're talking about verified profiles.
Yeah.
User profiles, verified user profiles. Like maybe we can, clarify it like that.
Yeah.
So for example, there's like an artist called Pueblo Vista. which of course is claimed by me, so it has a verified thing. But there's also a user called Pueblo Vista that under that user you have all these playlists, basically.
It's the same for Kiwi Bear Records as well. We have a user account that's
Exactly.
verified for that, but I also have playlists that we use for Kiwi Bear that is under my profile, and I can't get that verified because it's not a label account.
Exactly. And this, I think, it's a good segue to another subject that we have. Labels posing as artists.
Yeah. You're a shit. You're an absolute shit.
I just cut through the bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. I'm not gonna, it's not like I'm gonna lube your butthole before I stick it in. It's like, oh, it's in.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah,
boom.
Prolapse.
So you wanna do us the honors and take it off?
I suppose. Okay, so I guess we've all seen it. We've all seen artists within the lo-fi. Yeah, exactly. We've all seen artists within the lo-fi scene that will release with a label, and along with their artist name, they will have the label name. You know, like Beatman Noise and Pueblo Vista. So, from my understanding, I kind of came into it naively and spoke with a specific distributor and was like, do I need to have this in order to claim label splits? And they were like, oh, no. The only reason that you would have an artist account on Spotify would be to make sure that your compilations come under your profile and they're easily findable. Otherwise, it would fall under a various artist thing. That was my understanding, but I've recently learned that it doesn't matter. A label doesn't need to have an artist account to release your music. Us under Kiwi Bear Records, we don't do that. There is no Kiwi Bear Records artist account. If you do see one, that's not me. That's that. I'd put that out there.
Get cracking, boys.
Yeah, exactly. But the only way that you'll know that we are, we're releasing something is at the bottom, it will say Kiwi Bear Records.
Yeah.
And again, I've seen that some label owners are like, oh, well, we do this so that we can see Spotify for artist stats and we can see, we can pitch to Spotify. Yeah, you don't need that either. If you're a good enough label and takes 2 minutes to search online, you can see that you can get a label account for Spotify for artists, which means that you can see all of the artist statistics that release with you. You can pitch to Spotify editorial, and you can essentially access all of their Spotify for artists accounts. The only thing you can't do is see the specific statistics of releases that aren't under your label. So you can see that they've got 50 tracks, but you can only see the stats for 2 or 3 of them that are your label's releases. Now, I guess the point or the thing that we're going for is, like, apparently Apple Music, Spotify, etc., all of the DSPs, they don't like this. They don't like labels having artist accounts because they're not releasing music. Let's be completely honest. They're not releasing music. They're not producing music. They're offering zero value to the music ecosystem. All they're doing is creating another profile with another name that are getting statistics that, if you can do some quick maths, you can quickly add up how many streams that your artists have had. We did that. We recently posted some stats of how our artists have been doing over the past 6 months. It took me maybe 15 minutes just to go through all of their profiles, look at all of the music, and put, 1 plus 2.
2 and 2 together.
Exactly.
Quick maps.
So it's not. I personally don't think it's a very good thing. It makes releases look a bit shit. Now I understand, Paul, why you guys do it, because you want your your compilations to fall under one easily searchable user account. I get that to a point, but for me personally, if we were to do compilations, which we don't, and I don't particularly want to get into that, it's just a stance that we don't do compilations. We wouldn't.
No, let me
go on.
No, go. Sorry. You finish.
I was just going to say that even if we did end up doing a compilation, we would be we'd happily have it under a various artists thing, and would just put more effort into marketing to make sure that everybody knows where they can find it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's for me, just to clarify, the thing is that as much as I definitely agree with what you're saying 100%, the fine line between me, let's say, and other labels, that is that Pueblo Vista is not the name of the label, whether you like it or not. You can call it like maybe it's Pueblo Vista Music, maybe it's Pueblo Vista Sound, or whatever. The Pueblo Vista thing, I'm Pueblo Vista.
Yeah.
Like I'm the artist, Pueblo Vista. That's it. Um, so yeah, it is what it is. I know a lot of people say, yeah, potato, potato. Yeah, fuck off.
Well, I
Simple as
guess the
that.
only difference is you actually do release music under the Pueblo Vista.
Yeah, I do kind of, yeah, I do want to, I do try to produce music as well. Like you never see XYZ records or blah, 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 whatever records or this and that come up with like an original track because most of these people like also like there's genuine artists behind some labels, I'm also like one of these, coach players or, label manager, label owner artist as well. Yeah, but I've set it up in a way that it works, and I like the name. And when I set it up to start this thing, because I had a business plan, unlike other people, I just wanted to make like the Pueblo Vista ecosystem.
Yeah,
like it's in the same concept as to anybody who's watching Walking Dead. Everybody's Negan. Like everybody's Pueblo Vista. So there was a time, right before Spotify took down our podcast, or let's say, the mixtapes that we put out, that you would just type Pueblo Vista and then you would come into all these beautiful things like the artist, the user profile, the podcast, like the compilations. There was like a lot of it. So, but that's the thing, the key, like to drive as much traffic as you can to your brand.
Yeah.
You could call it like a brand name. But I wouldn't call it. I don't think it's a brand. If the brand had a name, would be something else, like I don't know, Pueblo Vista Music and Media or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But that's me. Instead of like making all these different names or whatever, and I think like to what it boils down to me when I find it like really, I don't know, risky in a way because that thing is in their TOS, the terms of service, that specifically says that you are not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I even had a little bit of like an issue with DistroKid in the beginning when I started releasing there, and they were like, "Oh, that's the name of your label," and it's like blah blah blah, because I would put Pueblo Vista on the PNC line, which I definitely see the problem there. So I was like, oh, it makes sense. Like it's okay, like because I just wanted to make sure that it's identical everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I see. So I need to call it something else. And they pointed me out DistroKid, that one time that I agreed with what DistroKid does. They pointed it out that it's in the TOS and you shouldn't do it. So I'm thinking like, why do all these people like, are just like one report email away from getting their fucking accounts canceled? You know what I mean?
It's because Spotify doesn't care.
Yeah. Unlike that Spotify cares Twitter account, clearly they don't. They do not. Because I think like if somebody would report something like that, the same way that they don't care about it, with the same carelessness that they don't care about, they would just take down your content.
Yeah.
The same way. It's like, oh, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. The guy's right. Let's see what we have in the chat. Lofi Dad makes his own music, his own artworks, releases and publishes himself. Massive respect. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Pratek. It's like so wholesome.
Oh, slip
on.
No, that's nice. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, in Spotify's terms of service, it says that you do not accept any influence or payment over playlists or thingy of music. That's in their terms of service, but people still do it. People report it, and Spotify doesn't give a fuck. Yeah,
this is, I think, at some point, I think a year ago, Submit Hub came into like a hot moment from that as well, and that's when they came up with a thing like, well, you're basically paying people to listen to your music. What they do with it afterwards.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I get it. It's fine by me. It's okay. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure that eventually, like this whole playlisting, it's got to give. because
Yeah.
it has just like I said in the beginning, it's reached critical mass.
Hmm.
Like it's fucking Chernobyl. It's about to fucking explode. I mean, I don't know how much more. Like, if I clean up my fucking daily playlists, if I clean up the submissions, and dude, the day before yesterday, I got another email that says you have 724. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, there has to be some sort of like a fucking. I mean, kudos to Daily Playlist for what they do. But my dudes, like you have to somehow like filter that shit. Like this has to be, I don't know, put something. It's like everybody logs in with their, I don't know, with their Spotify. Maybe you can have a filter that these playlists are for artists that have X amount of followers or something like that. It might sound a little bit like, I wouldn't call it racist, but you know what I mean, like
You're
artists.
kind of getting into the realms of gatekeeping.
Exactly. I love gatekeeping. I love me some gatekeeping, especially if you keep a gate with money. That's great. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not Daily Playlists, am I? They will have to figure that shit out themselves. But figure it out, my bros. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, you know the reason why you get so many?
Why?
Because you're at the top. It automatically sorts by followers, like highest.
Because you have the shit.
So when you log into Daily Playlists as a normie like me, you'll be among.
Okay.
I think you're maybe 5th or 6th on the list.
Oh, shit.
And especially, to be fair, that Daily Playlists have done a lot within the past, I'd say 6 months to improve the platform. Before, it was just full of playlists that nobody did anything with.
Yeah.
You know, there was one, I think, from Acidia. He's or she. They
Oh,
they
yeah,
have a playlist.
I've heard them. Yeah.
They were always at the top, and I think it had something ridiculous like maybe 50 to 60 or 70,000 followers, and it was people were constantly submitting to it, and you could see from your very first releases that it was just nothing. It was always pending. So then Daily Playlist came along and were like, okay, now we're going to automatically decline after 30 days, which was a bit shit for artists, but I guess it took that stress out of labels, out of playlist creators.
Yeah, exactly.
Then Daily Playlist decided to remove playlists that hadn't been active. So if you didn't accept or decline,
add anything, exactly.
Then you got scooped off. Then now they've added little traffic light system, which shows whether playlist creators have been active recently or not.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. Yeah, that's really nice, actually.
Now they've also added a way for curators to explain why they've declined, but then they kind of backtracked on that because not everybody wanted to say why. So they've given you the option to do that now, and then they've now
that's really
added,
easy. Like just take out the simple decline. Yeah, take out the simple decline thing and add the reason. Like add, if you're like, how should I say? I mean, is it going to make your life as a curator difficult because you need to choose a reason? Yeah. Well, if anybody knows how to, if anybody used Submit Hub ever, this is what you get. You can submit and tell the curator that he only has to listen for 90 seconds, and that's that.
Yeah.
But in 11 out of 10 times, they always opt in for feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my dude, come on, man. Like, it's a 1.5 minute track. What kind of a feedback? It's lo-fi. Yeah. What feedback do you want? Like, the sound is okay, the whatever is okay. What it boils down at the end are two things. One thing is, I see this as a job, so fuck you. Second is, no, I'm not saying for me, but there's like two different types of people, let's say. Somebody who thinks there's a job for them is like a binary thing, like a yes and no and that's that.
Yeah.
Or somebody like me that I would like to keep the quality of my level, because they do have some nice ratings there as well, like in the sense of like if you listen to music more than 90 seconds, it seems like you're really getting engaged with your submissions and you're not just like, no. And this is something that only, lately, I mean, it wasn't like that from the very beginning, which is great. And I take my time in the sense of like, I might do something and I will put it in the background to play and I will listen to it. And Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I accept that. Fine. And there's always that version. But if you're like in the fucking lo-fi thing and you made like lo-fi, like why would you make me want to give you feedback? Because you know what happens with that? Like you say no. Because at the end of the day, what I wanted to say is like it boils down to it's subjective
Yeah.
musical taste. That's what it is.
Hmm.
That's what it is. Like you could have like the best track. I mean, let's say for example, the shittiest chill hop music artist is like it's a very good artist. I don't know who it is, but they're very good. Like what they do, they play instruments or whatever, whatever. I don't like it. Does it make the music shitty? No.
Yeah.
It's just like my personal taste is like I don't like it. Therefore, I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
As simple as that. So you say, you give them like some sort of feedback. Oh yeah, it's great, blah blah blah. Like, but I don't want to. It's like, oh, 1 star. Fuck you, bro. Why?
Yeah. I found that as
I'm
well.
like,
Though,
I don't know, man.
When I do my playlist curation, like some weeks, I'll just really just won't vibe with anything. Like I'll maybe accept 1 or 2, and then some weeks I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is dope, this is dope, this is dope. And it just depends on what mood we're in, how the day's going so far. If I'm too tired to listen to 30 minutes of 30 minutes. I think I get about 60 submissions a week, so it's more like an hour and a half of lo-fi. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood to sit and listen to
Dude, yeah.
like 2
So many
hours of
times.
lo-fi.
This happened to me so many times.
Especially because it is such a, I guess, chill, sleepy genre that I'll just be sitting there listening. I'll just be fucking dozing. But then, yeah, there are times where stuff really does stand out, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then there are times where I'll be jolted awake by someone that submitted a 6-minute rap trap track, and I'm just like, okay, you clearly didn't read what this playlist is about.
Exactly. And I think it's just like, that's why I keep saying the whole fucking thing does reach critical mass. Like everybody, like it's like anyone who's anyone and makes music now. I don't know if it's like on the other genres, but I cannot speak about a genre that I'm not involved with. But especially in ours, this is instrumental hip hoppy, stuff. They just like the first thing that they do is like, oh, I made this amazing track, like I need to get a playlist. No, man, you don't. You need the first thing you want to do as a fucking aspiring artist. I don't even know why I put that fucking word there, aspiring. You just need to focus on your fucking craft.
Yeah.
And make sure that the shit that you do is good enough for you. And then you need to fucking build your brand and build your fucking audience. And if you can perform live, that's a fucking plus to you. And you should like get out there and start fucking performing. And then instead of like sucking up and paying every motherfucker that has a fucking playlist a fucking $1 to put you on your fucking playlist. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, and I say fuck a lot, is that it's not what you are doing. It's not, first of all, it's not scalable. It's not helping your money. It's not helping your pocket. You're going to be losing bread. You're not going to be getting any bread. You're going to be losing that bread. I mean, you can eat jam by itself with no bread, to each his own, whatever. But just focus on your fucking shit, because most of the stuff, like every now and then, I would just indulge myself and get like all this, these guys that submit something to me. And then I'm like, I would just go to the Spotify profile. And then I'm going to go there and it's like, and say like, I had a little bit of a stroke there, sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Like 200 monthly listeners, 5 followers. Like, I'm not saying that's bad, but my dude, you need to work on your fucking artist, on your shit. Just like, I'm not saying that if you had 1,000 followers and 100,000 monthly listeners, I would give more fucks. I still give 0 fucks about how much numbers you have.
Yeah.
It has to sound good. But if you're half-assing, your covers, or I see you on daily playlist, I have 5 playlists there. I don't have them to flex. I don't have them to get higher up on the daily playlist fucking algorithm. These are different fucking styles.
Yes.
That's why I'm fucking putting them there. There's like a lo-fi thing, and there's another more lo-fi thing, but it's the sounding is different, and there's an ambient one, and there's study beats, and there's and if you like, and I see the moment, and this is like for any person who might, potentially watch this in the future and might think like, oh, I can pitch to Paul. If I see, I have 5 playlists. If I see your fucking tracks pitched for all 5, I just fucking delete it because you're being a dick.
That's half the reason why I stopped using daily playlists, because, I have specific, like I have a sad one, I have an upbeat one, and then one that's more general. And when I just saw that everyone was pitching to all 3, it's like,
no, man, fuck off.
Look, it can't be upbeat and sad. It can be upbeat and, I guess, being the general one, but then, I kind of think, because my Lo-Fi to Eat Cake to, that's over 1,000. I'm very much aware that people are wanting to jump on that one because it's over 1,000.
Of course, yeah.
And that's, there's a part of me that's thinking, should I create some more playlists for more specific vibes, like I guess a jazzy one, or, one that's a bit more like, I am kind of working on a sleep and a vocal one as well, because I don't think vocal Lo-Fi gets much love. But I don't want to put those out there and just have someone submit an instrumental track to the vocal one, or submit a really 120 BPM track to the sleepy one, because that's not, and I guess this goes back to the very first question of how you make better contacts. And it's, again, pay attention to what they do. If they're an artist that has a very more relaxing, quiet, chill Lo-Fi playlist, don't be submitting your boom bap 90s inspired instrumental hip hop track, because it's not gonna it's not gonna fit. And in a way, you kind of come across more annoying, unless, and I've actually done this myself, that I've got a couple of people that have playlists that are kind of geared more towards the sleepy stuff. I'll go to them and be like, hey, I've got this track, I understand that it might not fit, but listen to it anyway, and let's see if it does.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you can kind of be tongue-in-cheek like that, it does work for the better, because at least we can see that you're aware that your music might be a bit too left field for the specific sound. Yeah. And, it's good to take like little jabs at yourself.
Exactly. It's I don't know, like and sorry for the rant that I went before. It's just like, it really rattles me up.
No,
I'm getting so rattled that I'm almost like losing my American accent. I go back to the Greekness, grow some balls, man. Grow the balls, and go submit to the hub, the playlist hub. But to grow the balls. Now I sound more Italian, but yeah. Let's see what's in the chat. I answered a question that Lo-Fi List said before about, he asked if about the payment for playlisting. Do you guys think having a Submit Hub account may be risky? I said to him, it's not risky, it's just more time consuming.
I kind of have a different stance on that. Although Submit Hub have kind of, found that little loophole grey area that they're paying for time. I'm still in the stance of that, if you're exchanging money for even the potential of being added to a playlist or to be featured on a well, not necessarily a blog, that's kind of completely different, but to be featured on a playlist, that's 100% risky, because you have accepted money, regardless of whether people are paying for your time or not, to consider this for a playlist. And that's against terms of service. Not that Spotify gives a shit, but
Spotify never gives a shit.
If Spotify gave a shit, they would be banning all of the playlists that have a link to coffee in their descriptions.
Exactly. If Spotify gave a shit, we wouldn't be here talking about that crap. We would have no podcast. So Spotify, please do not give shit.
Yeah.
Don't give shit, please.
The only shit they give is if someone that isn't have a verified user account gets reported, and their playlist just gets dumped in the bin without any question.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether the playlist description has offense, whether the title has offensive, or whether the picture is offensive, none of them are. The picture's royalty free. The image and description, a title and description are fine. If someone just goes and reports it, it gets put in the bin. Spotify doesn't care.
Exactly, and that's really this is if you're, because at the end of the day, there are some people who are pretty serious about music curation. Like coming from, radio hosts and stuff back in the day, there's a lot of people who are pretty serious about and we know one guy at least, shout out to Colors in the Dark, who's like really took the whole curation thing to a next level. Motherfucker is doing a Twitch fucking live now, like, fucking rating the submissions and shit like that. Kudos to him. Would I ever do it? No fucking way, man. No. But I fucking applaud his efforts on that.
I wouldn't do it because I don't feel like I'm in a position to judge other people's music. So I can sit there and be like, this is good.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because I'm a cunt, but that's a whole different, thing, I would love to. Let me just say this. I would do it with you. Like we do, like you and me. This would be perfect. But anyway, we don't want really, I don't want to steal Colors' thunder there. It's really good that at least like, there's like one person, and I'm pretty sure there's more people who do that. But, people who are like genuinely invested in the whole curating thing, and the guy does it for the, out of the goodness of his heart. Like, of course, there's like, he does have I think he has a Submit Hub account. Does he?
I think
not really sure.
Switched fully.
Yeah, but anyway, no shade, no, I don't want to throw any shade or whatever there, but what he does it well, and that's that. So for a person that is serious about that, and he wants to be invested in it, and maybe you want to make this your profession, like, okay, I'm a professional curator, so yeah, you need to pay some money for my services.
Yeah.
I get it, you can do it. Then Spotify, and every Spotify should have some sort of like a verification application thing where you can submit. I'm not the one to decide how this happens, if you want to submit your fucking passport or whatever the fuck. And then you can go that route, and you can have a verified user profile and, enjoy life. Yeah. Do whatever you want to do whatever you do best. But for everybody else who just were in the right place at the right time, and their playlist got a lot of traction in the beginning, and then you started setting up like coffee accounts, and then that coffee became an ice cream, and that ice cream became fucking lunch, and that lunch became like a fucking dinner. Come on, man. Come on. Like, just go ahead and do a Submit Hub account, and then you can have everything, which at least what I appreciate with Submit Hub is that the system is fully transparent.
Yeah.
You see who owns the playlist, you see the reaction, you can rate them, this and that. And Submit Hub are pretty active because they have a lot of data. They're pretty active when it comes to like evaluating outlets, whether it's like blogs or Spotify playlisters or YouTubers or whatever. So they're like, oh, this happened, like, when the whole playlist bullshit happened like last Christmas and we dropped, I got a message from one of them, Paul, we noticed like your following dropped on Spotify. Like, what's happening there? I was like, first of all, who the fuck you think? I'm sorry, is this the Spotify police? But yeah, there's like somebody checks that stuff. It's not like just random. So you could go there. You have a big enough playlist, and they will definitely accept you. And then it's going to be 100% transparent.
Yeah.
So instead of like, oh, I need a coffee and 2 coffees and 3 coffees in my, nobody can drink so much coffee, man. Nobody.
No.
Come on. Because there, you accept the track. I mean, you will get the cash anyway, whether you accept or decline the track.
Yeah.
But at the bottom line, you have to provide some sort of fucking reason at least. I remember like at some point, and I will say this to finish up my point, is that in the beginning when sorry, I thought something else, I'll tell you later. When this coffee things came up, there were some people who said, you know what, you give me like $3 per submission or track or whatever, and then if I don't like it on our playlist, I will refund you.
Yeah.
And they did it. And then they stopped doing it.
Yeah. So I saw a couple that were doing that, and I was like, oh, I commend you for doing that. But I think that's effort in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, I sit here like being a grumpy old fart, being like, no, I don't want to pay for, but I do. If I've got a release that I really want to push out there, I'll find a coffee. A playlist that has a coffee. No, exactly. But I think this is kind of going back way up to the chat, and it was someone was talking about ads for playlists, I think, or something, or running ads as an artist. So the guy that I mentioned previously that has really kind of dug into the stats of like the Spotify API and the algorithm and shit.
Yeah.
Talking with him recently, and he was saying that paying for ads for playlists is kind of, I think because everyone's doing it, it's incredibly oversaturated. You can just go onto like Instagram and TikTok, go through your stories, swipe up whatever, and see, you know, some sort of ad for some sort of lo-fi playlist. That is a thing that's happening now. And he was like, you're actually you will get more traction if you have an ad for your artist account or for a release that you've just had. Yes. Now, that I fully support. Like put $15 into some ads for a week to see whether you can get some good traction on this, you know, on a new release. I'm absolutely fucking terrified about doing that. I'm going to be honest. Like putting that amount of money on myself and putting myself out there to strange people to judge.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you do. That's marketing. That's marketing.
But seeing that I've put like, you know, 20 to 40 pound into advertising my own music and getting 0 clicks. I think that'd make me quit.
It's like you need to figure out the golden ratio thing in the sense of like you know, if you're like a label, a label like Pueblo Vista 2020, where you would release almost every fucking day for at least, I think it was like I went into this fucking zone for 4 or 5 months. I don't even know what I was doing, but I was just like pump out shit because I was trying things out. So it was really rewarding seeing other labels doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the trendsetter. Fuck you. Problem is, I get to eat the dick every time. All these other motherfuckers that get this playlist and whatever. I do all the hard work. I dicks, and then everybody succeeds. But yeah, fuck it. What I was gonna say, I forgot, is that you need to be willing to lose money. Basically, it's the same thing like cryptocurrency. Like you have like $500 that you don't care, put it in there. Because that's what it is in the end. That's exactly what it is. The same thing when it comes, you know, promoting whatever. You can be like, maybe this one is not going to do what. No, you need to spend it. And if you want me to throw one more, what is the expression? Throw a wrench into something? Is it?
Spanner in the works.
Okay, that. Being let's say a legit business in the sense of like, you know, you pay your taxes, blah, 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 this and that. For me, spending money on advertising is an expense.
Yeah.
So somebody comes to me and is like, oh, we got this super playlist or whatever. Can you give me an invoice? This is like the $1 million question that stops the conversation right there.
Yeah.
Like, no. And fuck you. Because I will fucking give you $1,000. Can you give me an invoice? And I'll put it on my expenses.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it?
And I wouldn't give 2 shits. I would fucking pay $1,000 for every release. If all these motherfuckers can give me an invoice. Because I've been spending, and I said this many times, not to flex, but just to get some people's like heads out of their butts. Oh, why do I need to give you 50%? Why do I need to give you 30% of the? I spent 35,000 euros since last fucking summer on fucking Facebook ads. So I don't know where you come from or wherever comes from, but this money can fucking put food on the table of at least 10 families.
Yeah.
Depending on where that family is. And I, the white, privileged male, you know, spend that on fucking Facebook to promote your fucking music. Or to grow the playlist, but the music goes up there. So, you know, next time you ask me like, oh, why do I have to? That's one of the things, you know, that I do. Anyway, my point here is that all these payment slips that I get from Facebook on business.facebook.com, there's a section on the ads that you can, you know, There are generated invoices for you there, and you can download them. Everything is going to be expensed. As simple as that. I make money from it, and I spend money on it. So this is like a healthy business. Like, you cannot keep earning money from somewhere, and just because you don't declare it, because whatever, because let's not kid ourselves. Like, there's a big portion in this genre of kids, and I'm probably going to start losing.
Did you note down how many you had before we started this?
Yeah. Before we started this, I was like, let me see, without looking, I think I was at 9,913 or something like that. Anyway, so there's a lot of kids who do this, and nobody pays taxes. So when you come to me and say, oh, Paul's like 50-50, okay, let's just have like an imaginary, some figurative numbers, Your music makes 1,000 euros. We have 50-50. I take 500, you take 500. See? The problem is I need to pay 50% of these 500 to the tax. So what I make from your music is 250. Why would you keep making 500? And you're telling me like, oh, well, the labels, fuck the labels, they make all this money. Dude, taxes, man. Like, nobody makes fucking money. Like, sure, if you sign a deal with a label, because some labels are, how should I say, clairvoyant, because I like this word. And they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be paying 50% of that shit. So normally I would do 30-70, but let's just do 70-30 in my favor. So at the end of the day, that 70%, 35 of it goes to the tax. So at the end of the day, he makes 35, you make 30, it's the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I have like a deal with somebody that is like 50-50 in the sense of like, because some people were like really mistaking this 50-50 with Universal thing ever since we went there, is that 50% goes to the artist, because I was really adamant about that, like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
Anybody who makes music is going to get less than half, because it's a fucking joke otherwise. But then the 50 that remains is split between me and Universal, like a 25-25. Yeah. And half of that goes to the fucking tax. So like 100 comes in, you get 50, whatever, and I'll get to that. You get 50, I get 25, Universal gets 25. Both me and Universal need to pay half of it to tax anyway. So we end up with 12 and a half. I mean, welcome to the music industry. It sucks balls. Like, nobody really makes the chunk of the money. Like, it's spread out.
Yeah.
Through various sources like this. The distributors make money, the labels make money, the artists make money. My goal, and your goal as well, is like that the artist makes the most out of it.
Yeah.
Now, what you do after you get it from me, I don't give a fuck. You want to pay your taxes, pay them. You don't want to pay them, don't pay them, man. Again, live your life. You're not hurting anyone if you don't pay your taxes. You might be hurting yourself in the long run, but that's on you. It's like, if you want to hurt yourself, go ahead. So yeah, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of things that you moving into the, maybe like, I don't know, maybe the conversation took a darker turn now, talking about all this businessy tax whatever stuff. But these are like things that I believe that you should have some sort of like an idea whether you are an artist or you want to start a label or you want to do something. There's definitely, like, depending on the country that you live in and the local IRS or the tax company that's behind it, whatever, have like different rules and regulations. And there's definitely a lot of, let's say, numbers that fly under the radar, because even if you made like a fucking, how should I say, 20 grand from music in a year, for the bank or for the IRS or whatever, this is more or less, this is peanuts. Like, they don't care about this kind of number. Like, but if you keep getting like 20 grand in your bank account every other week, that might raise a flag
Yeah.
in the bank or on PayPal or on whatever, and then that institute is going to contact another institute and another institute, and then eventually you get like, I mean, again, depending on the country that you live in, you're going to get somebody knocking on your doors like, hey, did you make that money? Oh, you did? Okay. Did you pay tax? Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, we got a live one, boys. So, yeah, fun stuff. Death and taxes, man. Like, this is like, everybody thinks like, oh, music and playlists and whatever, and fuck you, the labels, and I don't care what you do, it's your problems, blah, blah. Dude, there's shit that I have to deal with that I get it. You shouldn't care about that stuff. You couldn't give two shits about it. I mean, some of these people like don't even give two shits about their personal life. Why would they give a fuck what I do in my label? But this will affect you as well.
Yeah, a lot of artists don't consider this as a business. And,
yeah,
you know, there's that whole confusion and I guess misconception around what distro could do with that 30%, which, you know, if you're a part of the tax treaty, you can waive it or whatever. But, you know, there are some people that will just sit there and adamant, like, I'm not going with distro if they take 30% of my royalties. It's like, well, no, they don't. If you're in a country that has a tax treaty with the United States, you can waive that. But it's all this kind of stuff that a lot of artists don't necessarily either know about or pay attention to or want or care about, because they think, oh, I'm just making music. It's not, you know, it's not going to get anywhere. And then when they do get somewhere and it starts to really bite them in the arse, they just go and complain on Twitter, then realize, oh shit, maybe I should have done some business.
Oh shit. It's, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot that come with it. Like whether it's like, you know, running a label, even just running your own artist. It's not, oh, I'm just like, oh, I want to make music and it's like great, whatever. Yeah, this was like some sort of like an opinion or like a rhetoric, like maybe an opinion that it was okay for, I don't know, the 70s and the 80s, the 60s, the 70s, maybe some of the 80s as well. But 90s, 2000s, like nowadays, like, no, like it's sadly, you know, there's like, you know, stuff. There's legal stuff. There's this, there's that. There's like, you know, contracts or taxes or tax treaties or like all that kind of shit. Like, and what I said before about me coming back to the split that the artist gets. For example, me now, you know, with Universal, at least, because everything is like more, there's no automated payment system like Dashco has, for example, or DistroKid or whatnot. Because I get the royalties, and then based on the royalty statements, I have to manually go through them and split them up, whatever. And I send them out with, you know, credit notes. I mean, I can also call them invoices, but credit note is equally legal. And you put like your tax info, which is like full, you know, address, whatever, tax ID, if you have one, if you don't. But after like my tax guy, my tax advisor said that for anything outside Austria, I mean, there's like this one, we have like a couple. For now, so far, like releasing wise with Universal, there's only one, Bitmut Noise, who's here in Innsbruck with me. So when I send him a credit note, he only gets charged 5% because as a VAT, because 5% is the VAT when it comes to music royalties. You cannot apply the generic goods VAT, which is like 18, 20, 25%, whatever, depending on the country, I guess. And then for everybody outside Austria, because this is like the country I live in, and this is like the legals, like everybody needs to pay. Oh, before you pay out, you keep a withholding tax of 20%. To which I provided like links to it in Discord and what exactly a withholding tax is, whatever. Like basically, I pay the tax here for you, so you don't have to pay it in your country. It's already been paid. You can keep the net out of what I sent you, but you can keep the whole thing. And if somebody says anything, you can show them the credit notes, like here, it's paid, the withholding tax is done. However, there's a lot of people like, oh, fuck you, man. Why would you keep like 20% less? In order for you to be removed out of this 20%, there's like a beautifully structured Austrian form comprised of, I don't know, 18, 20 pages. It's like a next thing, where you have to give out a ridiculous amount of personal, financial, and otherwise information. And when you reach the end, you get a document that's been generated for you, where you can go to your local tax office,
Right.
and get them to more or less verify that and say, okay, I see, and they stamp it, and then you need to send that back to me, and then I will just remove that 20%. The only purpose it serves is record, in the sense of like if Aaron says to me, oh, I released with you, and boom, 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 here, I did it, here, back, okay, and then I send you the money, and then I get magically investigated by the Finanzamt, or let's say the tax agency here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why did you pay that British guy, why didn't he pay the withholding tax? I'm like, here's the document.
Yeah.
That's its only purpose. That, and if you ran out of toilet paper, you can print it out and wipe your ass. That's the value of that paper. But I cannot do it for you.
Yeah.
Because it has to be you.
If you want to fill out a dictionary of paperwork, go for it.
Yeah, and to top it all off, it's pretty obvious that they did not pay a translator to translate it. So for me going through it, I could read the German in the English. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like low-key Google translated the whole thing, maybe beautified it a little bit, and then put it back into the form. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. Like, I tried to do it myself, right? Like, I stopped after the third page. I was like, no more. It's fucking torture. But again, this is what the whole financing taxation system is set up to frustrate you so much that you just take it up your ass and pay your taxes. That's it. But yeah, if anybody, future releasing with Pueblo Vista, well, GMG or otherwise, and they don't want, 20% withholding tax, just ask for the link. Link is in the bio. The link is going to be in the bio, and then you could just hate life after that.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get 20% back.
Nah, you can.
And the thing is this though. Okay, you get the 20% not removed. However, you are solely responsible in paying that tax now. Because how should I say? Because it's royalty tax. It's not the generic VAT that you get for food or whatever. It could be potentially a lot less. But then this means that. To go to the beginning of this whole rant is that all of these kids who don't pay taxes, now you need to kind of like make yourself visible and say, oh, I made the money with this, I need to go to the tax. Like you make yourself visible, first of all, going to the tax office and asking them to kind of like, stamp this fucking thing. And they're like, oh, you make the money with the music. I don't know why I sound like fucking Mario. It's me, Mario. but yeah, like it's like, dude, just it's definitely like the cool the way that we deliver this kind of content now. Like it's like shits and giggles and there's a little bit of laughter, but it can suck the fun out of everything that you do.
Yeah,
like everything. And trust me, like after that, the last thing you will have in your mind is fucking making music. You're like, fuck that. Like that's why I think I've told you like several times and other of my friends, like I'm so fucking tired. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now. I mean, you specifically and a few others know that there's other stuff that makes me tired as well. But that so stuff, toxic. Yeah, on top and destructive. That on top of everything else, you're like I just I liked my life 5 years ago when I would just come back from work. I used to work in an office, come back from work, have something to eat, have a nice wank, shower, and then just watch a movie. It
Yeah.
was great. It was great, especially the wank part. It was great. It's amazing. I loved it. But, and then like, I have to deal with a fucking label and boo boo blah blah. Where's my rent? I don't know. I don't know.
You don't
And
sound
one last
bitter
thing
at
that,
all.
no. And one last thing that I want to use this platform for is like, guys, when your music is featured on a compilation, it never shows up into your upcoming releases.
Yeah.
Never. Get this in your fucking head. For fuck's sake. Every fucking time I get a compilation out, Paul, I don't see the tracker coming up in the Spotify releases. It doesn't. Einstein, it doesn't. Because it's a fucking compilation. You're not the primary artist. Like, it doesn't have to, you don't have to have fucking Einstein's IQ. And I don't give a fuck if I lose followers for that, but get your fucking heads together and stop asking me like, because, the tone of the question is like, why isn't it showing up?
Mm.
Well, I don't know. Fucking Google it before you ask me. Ask your other friends.
I can't say I've ever been guilty of asking that. Though if you ask Mike.
Jesus, like, come on.
I think
so let's see.
Sorry,
go ahead.
It's a good thing to say and to make, like, it's essentially always coming from new artists. They're so used to putting something out and it appears in the Spotify for artists, and then they get on a comp tape and they're like, it's not appearing in the Spotify for artists. And it's like, I guess in a way, Spotify should maybe make that clear to artists as well. They're like, oh, it will appear, your singles, albums, EPs will appear, but compilations won't. That maybe it is in Spotify's like, FAQ. Google.
I don't know, man. It's like, I think I told you before, like, my responses in a bunch of questions that can be, sometimes people think I'm like too arrogant or something, but I just straight up go into DMs and I'm like, Google is your friend, man. Google is your fucking friend.
Yeah.
Google wasn't so friendly like 5 years ago, but now it has a lot of answers to a lot of questions, So, yeah, just I don't know. Like, it's like some things are so trivial that you don't need to be asking me. You don't need to be asking me at all.
Yeah.
But I saw that 11 said like Paul should host a talk show on Lofi. It would be so lit. What the fuck are we doing here?
I was like, what is this? What is this? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are we going to address distributors like we teased last week? Or yeah, it was last week, wasn't it?
Dude, I'm down. I mean, this doesn't have to be like a 2 hour thing. Like, and I don't think it's gonna take too long anyway. It's up to you. I don't care. I'm down. I got free time.
I mean, I don't really have a long story with distributors. I started with Root Note because I was always this person that I guess jumped from ideas quite quickly. So, I've obviously always been into music, playing bass since like 2002 or 2003. And the thought of like actually putting time into releasing music that would actually get anywhere, I didn't think that would ever happen. So I first went with Root Note because it was like a free distributor. Get your stuff on Spotify, they take 18, 20%, I'm not sure what it is. And boom, your music's out there. And then obviously I started to get playlist placements, I guess, and seeing some sort of success, was getting a decent amount of revenue from that. And I was thinking, okay, well, my music's earning the $30 that you would put into a DistroKid account. DistroKid would allow me to have 100% of that. So that, jumped over to DistroKid.
Why the hell not?
Yeah. And then, so I wouldn't necessarily say that I've moved over to Dashco because I don't think I have like a lazyboyloops Dashco account. I've only got one for Kiwi Bear Records. So
okay,
but I do probably plan just to release all of my music through that anyway.
Yeah, well,
so I guess I would say I've jumped over to.
Maybe it's gonna connect soon. It has connected in the past. There we go.
Oh, hey, you're back.
You're back. Yeah, it's. You started like
Oh, so did
buffering.
you. God damn.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What I was saying
Fucking
is that I haven't
Instagram.
paid for my DistroKid account in about 6 months, and good news for anyone that has a DistroKid account that may miss the payment. Your music doesn't get removed.
No.
I think I had about 3 months of my music still on there. It didn't get removed. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think I saw someone in the Lo-Fi Family Facebook group. They put a screen recording of their emails that they were getting from DistroKid, and I think they hadn't paid it for over a year, and their music was still on Spotify.
Okay. And DistroKid was like, please take care of your blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I only have a DistroKid account now for I think one of the tracks that I've got that's got a split on it. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Dashko is where
That's
I'm
interesting.
I suppose. How about you?
Bro, I'm the distributor wanderer. Like I just jump from branch to branch like a nice little monkey from tree to tree. Yeah, what about me? Fuck. With me it's like it's pretty like when I started with DistroKid like everybody else did. I mean, I had DistroKid for my dancey stuff anyway, so I was like, might as well use that. So I upgraded to the label account, and then I upgraded a little bit more. I think I ended up in sort of like €1,000+ or dollars a year bracket thing because you have to have like a lot of people, and they have like this weird shitty thing that for every fucking artist that was mentioned ever, you had to have like a slot.
Yeah.
This I found it very. On one hand, it was ingenious, so you end up like paying more and more licenses in a way, as if it was like some sort of software. On the other hand, it was like, fuck you, like, Jesus. So, yeah, anyway, I bit the bait and I kept, paying for more and more, let's say, licenses and spots and slots. And at some point, it just became very vague. Like, they would just release royalties whenever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's some royalties from like 3 months back from YouTube, some whatever. Here's some royalties from this and from that. Like, it was so sporadic, the release of information, and inconsistent and unfrequent. What's the word? Infrequent, or is it unfrequent?
Infrequent.
Infrequent. I speak English the very best. It's a me, Mario. And I was like, nah, this cannot happen. Like, but of course, artist-wise, everybody was happy because you had the teams, and everybody get their money automatically, whatever. Of course, there were other people who's like, hey, Paul, I don't have an account in DistroKid. Can you send the money to PayPal? I'm like, fuck no. Simple as that, So I said, I really need to move and figure things out, go somewhere else. And I started looking for distributors, and I came across STEM. No, I did come across RootNote, of course, but there was something in their system, like I think when it came to the splits, you had to fill out some sort of like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know. It looked a little bit shaky, shaky. So I did come across STEM.
Yeah.
They were pretty dope at the time. I think I was even in communication with a certain lo-fi label that it's not so hyped right now, but their previous manager is very well known for ghosting. So if you can put two and two together, quick maths, you can figure out what I'm talking about. And they mentioned like, oh, you can go there. It's cool, like whatever. It was still like in the startup mode. So I went there. They had, I think, 5%. on your distribution stuff, like whatever you made on your earnings, which I thought it was like, oh, it's a good split. But then later down, like a year and a half later, it was proven to be not as scalable as they might thought, because I think they definitely managed to secure some sort of funding, but because it wasn't so profitable, probably the guy who funded them, the angel, must have said, you know what, for most of these people, like it doesn't really work, so you need to get rid of like, I don't know, about 70% of your user base.
Yeah.
I was part of that 70%. Back then I had like about, I don't know, 1,000 something release tracks, and they just said, no, fuck off. Here's a discount coupon code for TuneCore, which was great. But yeah, and I mean, so far, like I've never had any issues like with any of them. Like DistroKid being the most dysfunctional, but then again, keep in mind I was in DistroKid like 5 years, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's you can I hear like I mean, still people are definitely on the fence about it, but the stories you would hear back then with the stuff that you would hear now is like almost like day and night. I still don't like it, and I would never go back there because I mean, if you're like a solo artist that blah 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 blah, it's great, but in like a label level, I don't know. You're a self-respected label and you distribute to DistroKid. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I respect the people who do it and keep, being faithful to that. And I recently had a conversation with a label that, they're with them. It just didn't work out for me at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, STEM was great, but then it wasn't. And then, like, between going to TuneCore and I don't know where else, I ended up in Dashco.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dashco for me is a love and hate relationship. I love them for what they do. I love them for the fact that they really got their shit together in terms of like promoting their own customers, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of us would agree with me when I say that they really need to also eventually come out as a label.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. And yeah, they're pretty much acting like a label, even though they keep saying they're a distributor. Right. And I don't know, long story short, I think it was like I had a very seamless and great working relationship with them until I haven't.
Yeah.
No, until I stopped having one. I didn't exactly. And the reason was that because I decided to make the move in terms of like distribution to Universal. And that's when I saw a completely different face. Again, this is like my personal experience. This is not like an opinion for anyone to listen. This is what happened to me and to me only. So it's my personal opinion, and that's that. I saw something that I wasn't familiar with, like all the friendliness and the brotherhood and this and that kind of like changed, and we started talking about legalities and severance pays and this and here and there, and this was something that quickly became not my cup of tea, and even though we wanted to, even though I wanted this to be a reasonable divorce, it quickly became a bad breakup. But I'm pretty sure that it definitely left a little bit of like a sour taste in both of the parties' mouths, Could have been cum, who knows? But yeah, like it wasn't the best parting, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. It happened, and that's that. Again, as I said before, like this is like my personal experience and how I saw things. Other than that, like when it comes to, because at the end of the day, it boils down to like if you want to, what would you go for? If you want a distributor, or if you're like new to the game, or if you're a label, or blah blah. Dashco at the moment, I think concentrates, and I'm not really sure about this number, but I would just say 80% of the lo-fi labels out there
Mm-hmm.
and the artists. So I find it a bit funny how you are being pitted with your competition.
Yeah.
It's you know, because I've heard a lot of stuff like stuff for, you know, some people getting favored over others, whether it's like artists or whether it's you know, labels and whatever. And when it's like the same distributor, it just, we're talking about gatekeeping again.
Yeah.
Like some labels are more okay to get this and some aren't and whatever. Like I don't know. Like in the sense of like again, I'm saying, and I have to for legal reasons, allegedly. These are things that you know I heard from people that use the platform, whatever. So I cannot confirm or deny anything. I'm just you know relaying information here. Um, and yeah, it seems a bit weird. Like, but when it comes to the service they provide, it's tip top.
Yeah.
It's great. Like
But no,
what I said,
I
they
agree.
really care
You're being
about
pitted
the
against your
labels.
peers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They have their own playlist. They're pretty big on Apple Music, which is like a very, very good thing, especially for an upcoming artist or an upcoming label. This is something that we saw the exact opposite moving to Universal. And we had to, you know, rely on our own strength and organic and active listeners, which thank God we had.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and this I can tip my hat to Dashco for that, that because of being with Dashco for like almost 2.5 years, helping us so much in, you know, the Apple stuff, playlisting and stuff. Of course, the content became organic.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Spotify as well. You know, like it's like unlike other labels that expect to get money from you to invest them in promoting you, which is like again they're using your money, and I'm not even talking about their earnings, like your money, because this is like how major label operates. Like for example,
Yeah.
Universal, like there's a an on top percentage after like before the splits. They will take off part of your you know income to invest it again.
Yeah.
But this is not how like you there's no investing a risk-free investment. Like you have to risk. So if you do that, then it clearly shows your commitment to what you're doing, for me at least. Something that at least, you know, Dashco, of course, you know, they make money from everybody, but there's no hidden expenses and costs and say, oh, we take, you know, 10% or 15% or whatever percent from you plus this for advertising.
Yeah.
No, they only do that. They have a budget, I guess, for that, like every, you know, healthy business has. Same way that I have a budget too. I'm not, you know, lo-fi fruiting my artists for money promotion. I use part of my earnings to throw it back into the thing, to the game. But that's it. Some other people don't. They're like, oh, you know what? The reason you're getting like 40% is because you would have gotten 50, but we use that 10% to whatever.
Yeah.
And my pro tip to that to any artist is like, you're gonna give me proof of where you spend that fucking 10%. Because I was initially in a similar situation when it came to the major label, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm happy for you to have X, Y, Z percentage for promotion, but at the end of each year, you need to provide with me with the documents that the total number of there would match this. And if it doesn't, then somebody's you know, nicking money off my pocket.
Well, at the end of the day, you don't want that 10% that UMG has taken to go to their top tier artists.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think that Kanye and Drake depend on me for the promotion.
No, but I think I'd be a bit butthurt if the 10% that they were taking from me ended up going through that. And to answer Lo-Fi List's question, Ilwin kind of answered what Ilun
to switch from to the other. Yeah. It's really
it was easy. It's just a lot of waiting. If you're going to take your music from DistroKid to like Dashco or to any other distributor, it's just a lot of waiting. You need to essentially upload all of your tracks again with exactly the same details and then wait for it to propagate on DSPs like Spotify. There'll be a moment where you have two of the same track, but Spotify do this good thing where they kind of
and then you
bundle
need
it
to
into
start
one.
taking it out.
And then once that's there, you can take it down. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's that. To add to the lo-fi list questions, like I think what I can definitely add there as a pro tip label-wise, and this is something that I should have utilized a long time ago, is you need to have an Excel sheet or a spreadsheet with all the information that your releases have. I mean, of course, there's some major fields like UPC, ISRC, I don't know, artist name, producer name, composer name. Don't get me wrong, like the composer name has to be the real names. Don't be like other people that, just fill out the artist and the perform by and they don't fill everything else. Because if you want to get involved into neighboring rights and publishing rights and mechanical royalties in general, if you don't know what mechanical royalties is, Google is your friend. There's performance royalties, there's mechanical royalties, there's a bunch of royalties that you're missing out on. Not really. But do that and have like an Excel sheet, because at the end of the day, Dashco, at least this is what Dashco, because I did that from moving to STEM to Dashco because I had like 10 times more releases, so it was more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Have that list and have like the actual files, the WAV files that you used, on like a drive or whatever, so that they can take it from there. Maybe with some sort of like identification in the sense of like make a folder for each release and have the folder named with UPC number in the beginning.
Yeah.
So they can basically connect those two. For me, like it took I think about like a week or two. I'm not really sure I remember, but everything else was like seamless. And then, like you said, you see this two of a kind like appearing on, let's say, Spotify, because you see it on other platforms, but on Spotify is more intuitive. There's like this visual notification that says one more release.
Yeah.
That's it. And then as soon as you see that, within I guess 7 to 10 days, to make sure that all the saves and the playlist, the features on the playlist and all the streams and everything comes over. You can start taking down the previous releases from DistroKid. It is a bit of like a tedious process, but I would definitely suggest that, especially if you like a new label, you start using that document now before the situation goes out of hand, like me. And then you just need to fucking spend hours and hours figuring metadata and sending emails to people you released 4 years ago, like, hey, what's your full name? Asking for a friend. Like, sounds a bit like fucking creepy, but yeah, this is something you definitely need, to do as a label, and it's really like it's a really straightforward process. Pain in the ass, but yeah, and I think after like the whole Dashco thing, we moved to the new UMG era, and I'm just gonna leave it to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So it is what it is, which is like different. Definitely what I can talk about is way different than, Dashco and what I had before. There's like multiple people that review your submission. There's a person to QA the metadata. There's a person to QA the actual files, the covers and the sound files.
Yeah.
There's another person that submits the whole thing to the DSPs or the DSPs CRM or whatever the system have there for releases. Yeah, it's definitely different. I would call it like Paleolithic or prehistoric, but this is how these fucking dinosaurs work. Like, and they haven't really changed their ways in a million fucking years. Yeah, it is what it is. And if you're lucky enough and you get on board with one of them, you will experience what I'm experiencing. And good luck for that. Yeah. So you can come and ask me about stuff. Unfortunately, in this kind of deal, Google is not your friend. You're not going to find that shit in Google. So.
I mean, you probably will find accounts of people saying that sign into a major label isn't as
I
unicorns and
was,
rainbows.
yeah. I was pretty surprised what I heard from Gabu saying yesterday on Discord, and I was like, what? So this was in a way that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. So
Well, you're something. That's for sure.
I mean, you gotta be crazy to get involved in that shit.
Yeah.
You have to be some sort of crazy. You have to have some sort of crazy. But yeah, shout out to Vincent. Thanks for because that's his name, Vincent. So yeah, shout out to Vincent for saying that. Or should we say Vincent?
Yeah.
Because he's French.
You gotta have the accent.
Yeah, not Vincent. Baguette.
Brioche.
Croissant. Vincent.
Croissant.
Je m'appelle Vincent.
Je suis
Je suis Bossou Jojo avec moi ce soir.
Oh.
Anyway, I know a lot of French. In Greek, we use a lot of French in everyday language. Like, for example, the word for radiator in Greek is, I don't even know how it is in Greek, but we use the word calorifère, which is like calorifère. I think it's a French word, basically.
Right. We just say radiator.
Well, you people are not even in Europe anymore, so I don't know. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares.
No, we're just surrounded by food shortages and all that shit.
Yeah, I always found it like very funny when I was studying in the UK, and you had like, I was referred as an overseas student. I'm like, everybody's fucking overseas, dude. You're fucking like, I don't understand. Like, oh yeah, we have domestic students and overseas students. Like, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, I wouldn't call that gap like that much. Like, it's not a fucking ocean. Like,
it's
you don't come from it's a channel. It's not even a fucking But yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
Well, I guess it's on that bombshell.
Yeah, exactly. The whole distributor stuff wasn't as spicy. Maybe it will become spicy, but for the time being, not really.
Mine's kind of bland. We're all just fishing for you.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's like when it comes to like especially choosing a distributor, I would just say this, and that I found from personal experience, and because there's people that work in these distributors are not mean or anything like that by definition or something. It's just like they're people. They just work there. They're doing their jobs. It's. I would just say like keep a business relationship. Nobody's your friend at the end of the day, other than your friends. Especially when there's like a very clear commercial transactional relationship happening. Like last time I checked, I don't have transactional relationships with friends, or like it's not like, I mean, and I'm not even talking like Aaron bought me lunch today, I'm gonna buy him lunch tomorrow. That's not even a fucking transaction. This is what fucking friends do anyway. But when it comes to like all these business entities, like nobody's your friend. Just make sure you're professionally respectful. Going back to the first thing we talked about like almost 2 hours ago. Keep it basic and normal. One other thing that I personally found out: don't get too emotional, because nobody gives a fuck except you.
Yeah.
And these people are not going to give a fuck. And this could be something that can be used against you if you're being emotional all the time. It's like, yeah, blah, blah. Just stick to the point. 1, 2, 3. This and that. That needs to be done. That needs to be done. That's that. Thank you. Bye. Cheers. Whatever. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm talking through personal experience, and I did all that stuff. I'm not like fucking, virtue signaling or saying like, oh, you should do this. And like, there's no shoulds. Like, I've done all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my cheat shit. I
knew you were going to do that. For someone who's over 40, you're such a fucking child.
Fuck that. I have my cheat sheet for me and my friends, man. That's what
Yeah.
friends are for. I mean, at the end of the day, I've said a lot of things to a lot of people, and but I can tell you, like, I mean, part of this thing, like we're doing like this 3 Sundays straight, like there's a lot of information spreading and sharing. Like, I'm fucking surprised. There's like 9 people still listening. It's great.
Yeah.
It's there's so much information, but again, and I think we discussed about this in the past. Like the same recipes don't work the same for everybody.
Exactly.
Like, I have a recipe for a fucking cake, and I can put it on the internet. Just because mine tastes in a certain way doesn't mean that yours is gonna, taste the same, look the same, have the same effect. So, yeah. But there are some stuff that not everybody's privy to. So.
Yeah, and I think there's not a lot of, I guess, openness and transparency within the community. Like the community is like super supportive and super helpful in certain areas, but it can also be quite, closed off and I guess toxic in a way. If I'm going to bring that word into it. So I guess it's nice in a way that we're at least talking about stuff that I don't see a lot of people commonly talking about. Just to pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah. No, nobody does that. Nobody does that. And even when they do, like, even when you see, like, I don't know, interviews or whatever, everybody, Twitch is on at the end of the day and whatever, like, but everybody tries always, like, to play it safe, which I do get to a certain point. It's nice. But then at the end of the day, man, you just, I don't know, like, what are we, like, sheep to the slaughter? Like, let's just, like, just play it safe, like, you never know, whatever. Like, in the past, every time, like, I heard I had any issues with anybody, scene, music, or otherwise, or at least what my upbringing was, like, you got a problem with somebody, you need to talk to them.
Yeah.
You don't need to beat around the bush. Or, like, you got a problem with somebody, go punch his face. I don't know. Whatever rocks your boat. Like, it's not that you just need to sit there and it's like, it's okay, I'm not going to talk about it publicly because, like, my image and sure, if that's what
you want to do,
you do you. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, you do you, man. That's
but then
it.
I kind of feel like that's kind of an obvious stance to take. Like, if you are happy to just kind of sit back and watch shit happen and not really say anything about it, then people can see that that's what you're doing.
Exactly.
Especially
eventually,
if you go behind the scenes with, like, whether you're in like a closed Discord or in a group chat or whatever, and say the complete opposite, which is
exactly.
Again, you do you.
Yeah. At least I think that's what I'm a firm believer in the sense of, like, if you keep it consistent, then there's no ways for you to fuck up, because, like, if I go here and say A, and I go here and say B, and I go here and say C, and then I go somewhere else and I say A, but it's probably B, but maybe C, I don't know, I'm neutral in this, you're gonna fucking mess it up. You're gonna fuck it up eventually. Like, it's like, A, you're not even gonna know what the fucking real thing is anymore, because you have, twisted everything depending on the audience, but then it's going to be harder for you to remember at the end of the day, and the older you get, the worse your memory becomes. I mean, we're not fucking elephants. So, yeah. So at least try to keep it consistent, like, in the sense of, like, are you an asshole? Keep it consistent. Be an asshole. You don't have to be an asshole.
Well, that's definitely something that I've kind of learned, at least over the past year, that if I'm going to be saying one thing and then someone comes to me being like, I've heard you've been saying this thing.
Yeah.
You said it. So stand by what you said, unless you genuinely didn't mean it. In the past, I would definitely hold my hands up and say that I would have been like, oh, yeah, no, sorry, mate. I didn't really mean it like that. But now I'm very much, now I'm very much just like, yeah, I said that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, own it up. Like, it is what it is. But I think the best way to do that, and you don't even have to try, is just, keep it consistent and say the same thing everywhere. And that's that. If you want to say to somebody, like, Aaron is a cunt, I'm going to say to everybody, Aaron's a cunt. But when I come to somebody who's like, a friend of Aaron's, like, Aaron is a nice guy. We don't hang out that much, but he's a nice guy. Just say to him, like, he's a cunt. That's it.
Yeah.
Because then Aaron is getting confused. Like, what is it? Am I a nice guy? Am I a cunt? Am I a nice cunt? Like, what is it? Like,
Yeah.
you need confirmation.
You don't confuse people.
Exactly. What the fuck? And the last thing you want on this fucking earth is a confused cunt.
Exactly.
Dude, these are confused cunts. Guys are ticking bombs. This is what I know. Ticking bombs. You don't confuse a cunt.
Fucking hell.
So what we can take from this is never confuse cunts.
Exactly. And on that note, that's
And on
been
that note,
today's Sunday Roast.
I think we should start. Basically, let's make sure this keeps up. Like at the end, we can like have like a wholesome message.
Yeah. Don't
This
confuse
roast
a cunt.
wholesome message is don't confuse a cunt.
And if you can add a Greek twinge onto it, then that's even better.
That's even better. Yeah, go for it. That's oh, great, cool.
All right.
Yeah, so it's been a blast, mate. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward next Sunday to bust some D&D ass. That'll be cool.
I think you're going to be very, very surprised of how.
I think I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Yes, 100%.
But it's okay, you know. It is what it is. At least
come
you know,
into it expecting that.
Nothing.
Well, we're currently midway through a battle, so you'll get that traditional thing. But then once we get told to do the next step or find something else or do whatever, when we're essentially being given our own path to tread, it will go ridiculously sideways to a point where
it goes
like,
bad
is this
really
actually
fast.
a thing that's happening right now? Are we really in this brothel trying to get a sex cage to trap the butler in?
Yes.
And that's exactly what we're doing. But yeah,
just throw the die. Throw the die.
Exactly. So I'll leave that to you for you to experience.
All right. Okay. And on that note, again, thanks everybody for joining. It's been almost like 2+ hours of fun. It's been It's like 2.5 hours, right? Sweet. These things like get like they're gonna end up being like Joe Rogan proportion, like 3-4 hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody needs to start paying us. We need to find fucking sponsors for this.
Yeah, that's 100% true. We're very verified, so we can start reaching out to people. Today's Instacast is sponsored by Fanta.
Dude, that would be super cool. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, so without further ado, that was it. Ta-da. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, you fucking losers.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon in one of the next Sundays.
Yep.
Peace.
Bye.